everybody? Welcome back to Grid Penalty, the Formula One podcast for everybody. We have made it. It's March 5th. Bahrain, the season has started, and we are fired up. I'm Brent Gill. With me, as always, Jeff Tice. Welcome to the show. We got a lot to cover today. Such an exciting first race. Jeff, you loved it?
Oh, my God. It's the greatest week of my life. I'm so excited. It was just so much fun. I'm buzzing. It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
It was incredible. So we're excited to get to it. But first, as always, we got to get plugged up. So, Jeff, tell us where you're going to be this Thursday.
Hey, listen up, everyone. We're going to be getting plugged up on Thursday, March 9th at Comedy Works downtown in Denver, Colorado. Come out to my headline debut at Comedy Works. This is the last time on the podcast I will be promoting it. I will probably be telling you about how either amazing it went or how awful it went next week. So we'll find out. But yeah.
I'll be the one to say if it's awful.
Yeah, you'll let me know.
I'll be there too.
Yeah, you'll let me know.
Yeah.
Brent will be hosting. Can't wait for that. He's flying in from Los Angeles because he's a good person. And it's going to be incredibly fun. So yeah, get your tickets. Hit me up for a promo code. It should be awesome. Let's say you are flying in from Los Angeles and you're like, man, I just love comedy. I'm going to go to Thursday's show, but I also want to keep the laughs rolling into Sunday. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drink so much on Thursday night that you pass out Friday and Saturday. So those days don't even exist. And then you're going to hop on the internet. You're going to go to Eventbrite. You're going to look up the Boulder Comedy Show. You're going to drive in your car down 28th to Valmont. You're going to not stop at Vacuums R Us. You're going to not stop at the Coyote Cleaners. You're going to not stop at Cosmos Pizza. You're going to not buy real estate from the Tebow Group.
Or Fascinations. You're not going to buy edible underwear.
You don't need the Smarty underwear. It doesn't need to be in the game plan of your night. So
we don't need chewable plugs.
Yeah, you don't need to get plugged with candy is what doesn't need to happen. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Rayback Collective at 7 p.m. every single Sunday for the Boulder Comedy Show. Go see Brent. Go see BK Sherrod. Go see Georgia Comstock. See Nick Holmby. See the whole crew. See Dr. Elliot Higgins. He rules. It's a great time. Amazing comedy. Brent, where can the good people find you?
Whew, that was a lot. I wonder if someone one day will actually just be like, hey, just for fun, I wanted to take one of your trips.
Yeah.
And take one of your routes. And it's like one where they have to ride a whale here or something.
Yeah. They're like, it costs $45,000 and the FBI wants me now.
Yeah. Well, you can catch me anytime you want. My comedy special is live from Philadelphia on my Instagram or on Helium Comedy Studios. You can find me on there. Also, you can find me at Jeff's show on the 9th at Comedy Works. But the following week, Friday the 17th, I will be at High Note Comedy at the Skylark Lounge in Denver at 8 o'clock. Saturday, I'm doing a Don't Tell Comedy in Denver,
Nice.
which is the 18th, and Sunday, the 19th, the day of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I will be in Boulder at the Boulder Comedy Show, so come check me out in Colorado on that run there. And that's, you can follow me at I Am Brent Gill, which is great. Shout out to my our sweet producer,
Yes.
Kat Orlean. We love her. Give her a follow at KO Recording. She does. She's got a lot of cool shit on there that she's putting out right now. I always love her like time lapse record builds.
It's incredible.
It's like mesmer. It's almost. I feel like she should do that with like a theta wave in the back, and just really mind warp people.
Yeah.
But anyway, follow her. Also follow our video editor Jan at Points into Williams, which her team got one.
Big
Her
week.
team, big week for Jan. So bad week for Nick DeVries, but
Yes.
big week for Jan. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram at Grid Penalty F1. That's it.
It's all of it.
This is exciting.
We're so pumped. The season's back.
How have you been?
The season is back.
Like, have you been able to sleep? Because I have not.
No.
Like every week, day, I'm just waking up. Like, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the 5th?
I've
yet?
been, so it is like the how many sleeps till Christmas vibe all week long. I
Right.
was so excited, and all the practices and quali and everything leading up was so much fun. All the pageantry, all the press conferences, all the sandbagging, the shit talking, the everything just leading up to just the lights out. Finally excited to go. And so it's been amazing. I've been just like geeking out online, digging into like people yelling at each other and all the little ins and outs of every little race week. It's so fun. I'm so pumped. How are you feeling? How was your week? You didn't sleep much?
No, I didn't sleep much. It's I just kept. I mean, I've been watching Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
I've been watching the practices. I kind of rewatched some testing highlights and the tech talks, and I'm getting into Reddit now because I never was into Reddit, and so I'm like starting to fall into rabbit holes. And I never turn on notifications.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And so I turned on Reddit's. And now it's like, oh yeah, it's like give me that dope.
Yeah, you have give
me that dope.
An IV drip of nonstop.
It's so cool.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
And so I follow Formula One and I follow Reddit cars, and I'm like, oh boy, once this new car gets built, it's gonna be.
It's over. Ooh, your life is gonna change.
Nom, 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 nom,
That's
nom.
great. Yeah. I've been looking forward to the whole week. Other than that, my week was it was just boring work stuff. I did go to my first baby birthday party with our child. Like, it was the first moment of my life that I was like, oh, this is my life now. We took Evelyn to our friend's second birthday party, which friends of the podcast, Miguel, Anna, and Amelia. Shout out Bernie, Pablo, Miguel, Anna, and Amelia, Chris, Johnny, DJ, Martina, Mena, Oxford, Jumpy, Javier, Science, Ana, Ivan, Bruno, Jose, a.k.a. Pepe, a.k.a. Precioso, and Drew. Shout out Drew. We'll be at your birthday party next year, Drew. But it was awesome. It was so much fun. We went to a kids museum, and it just was the most kids birthday party ever. And you always think man, I'm going to be old and I'm going to hate these birthday parties. And it's just you feel like you're whatever. But it's so fun. It's all about the kids. They're having a blast. They're with all their friends. And it's just dads and moms standing around being like, oh, 2 months? Nice. Crawling? Yeah? No? Oh, cool. Nice. Awesome. It's all it's basically just a tech talk for babies. You go, oh, are they sitting up? No, she's sitting up a little bit. Terrible aerodynamics on the wall. That's all it is.
The suspension's not quite there yet.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's all it is. It was so fun. And so we did that.
It seems like parents trying to flex on other parents. Oh, yours isn't walking yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was walking at 6 weeks. So
we had a race engineer from Red Bull, so ours is walking pretty fast right now. It's so fun, and we had a great time. It was an amazing party. But and then I played basketball. I played pickup basketball with our good friend of the podcast, Chris Voth. And then he brought another great comedian, good friend of the podcast now, Gary Goldman. And so,
oh hell yeah,
yeah, it was awesome. He's in from New York.
Gary strikes me as he would be a good basketball player.
He rules. Yeah, he's clearly played his whole life. He's 6'5", big guy.
Yeah, he's tall.
Yeah, and loves the game. We had a great time just talking trash to Chris the whole time. Which, if you know Chris Voth, look him up, and then just absolutely slander him
and then
online.
Talk shit to him.
Yeah, he's great. So we had a good time, but I'm wrecked. I don't have the muscles. I felt like it's the first race week. My neck hurts. I wasn't ready for the G-forces of playing pickup basketball. Everything hurts, but other than that, feeling great. But yeah, what about you? What'd you do this week? What'd you get into?
I didn't do a goddamn thing.
That's good.
Honestly,
good.
It was weird. It was after that golf, I mentally was like, I don't want to work at all.
Yeah, smart.
And so I just didn't do much at all. My assistant was like, do you want me to do anything? I'm like, yeah, just do that list. I don't have anything specific right now. Just dive into the fucking never-ending list I've created. But I was doing a bunch of sim racing, which was cool. I was driving Bahrain because I wanted to, I wanted to see what it was like. It took me so many tries. I posted this on our Instagram about what my score was. So I drive as Lewis Hamilton.
Amazing.
Because,
you got to.
And I feel bad for how bad I'm, placing him, especially for which car that we're racing in. But it's fun to watch the race and watch them driving when I know what turns are where and what's next. Oh, they're here, so this is going to be next.
Yeah.
And it really has increased my pleasure, my joy of watching this. especially seeing how they're driving and like when they're accelerating, when they're braking, and I'm like, oh, okay, I just want to go do this again.
It's awesome.
Turn 10, lock up corner as they call it, is where that I have missed that. So many, 85% of the time, I fucked that turn up, and that's where Fernando overtook Lewis.
Dude, incredible!
Dude, it was incredible.
That move was so amazing, so amazing.
I can't believe I was watching it. I was like, how are they not talking about this more?
Yeah,
like no one, like they weren't really like, which makes me think that maybe this wasn't a crazy move. But what's crazy about that turn is right before it is you qualify for if you're going to get DRS,
Yep.
if you're under that 1 second, and then right after that turn, DRS is open.
Yeah.
So Fernando got DRS and then overtook him in the corner and had DRS open while he was in front of him.
Big brain, the big brain
Dog.
move. And then they talked about after that move, they were saying like, and then later in the race, he was asking about where Lance is, and then they said. Fernando, the percentages they gave, they said Fernando uses 25% of his brain or of his energy to drive, and then the 75% remaining is all just thinking about the race, moves like that, planning the strategy. Where's he supposed to be? Where's my teammate? Where's Lewis going to be? He's such an incredible driver, technically, but then also. And physically, but then just the mental side of him is also unmatched. He's just a world-class talent. It was amazing. It was so fun to watch.
I can't believe I've been sleeping on the Fernando train for so long. Like when he was at Alpine, he was kind of going under the radar, and then like now that he's got all this heat, you start seeing all these clips. I'm like, oh, Fernando is kind of an asshole. And then in Drive to Survive, he's like, yeah, I've always been an asshole. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, dude, what a fun heel.
I think the history of Fernando is he never really accomplished as much as his talent was predicting, because he is that supreme talent. And then from the start, he's just been on the dark side. He isn't this, he's a shit stirrer. He loves poking at people. He knows what he's doing. He's so good at the media, and he's always been like that. And he's just this, like, now that he's finally back, on a podium, and the hype train is real and everyone's so excited, and it just is driving so many people crazy, and he loves it. He feeds off that dark energy. I love it so much. It's the best.
Dude, he reminds me now, like, just watching him throughout this whole week, like, he gives such little fucks about anything except for drive. Like, he's like, I got a car that works. Like, what was that conversation when he went, other than money?
Yeah.
They're like, look, we're getting all the Red Bull engineers. And do you want to come over here from this pussy little French team and come to the Lawrence Stroll show? Which, by the way, you got to give Fernando a ton of credit, because he knows who runs that team. And I've never heard him talk more about a teammate. That he's like, how's Lance doing?
Yeah.
How's, Lance is a great driver. I'm like, yeah, keep that money coming.
He's going to ruin that kid's life. He's gonna ruin that kid's career and life. He showed up, and he's just gonna run through him like he has every other teammate. It's just gonna be even funnier because his boss is his dad. He's gonna get results. He's gonna dominate, and then he's just gonna be like, "Where's Lance? Oh, 8th. Great. Still great, buddy.
Good outcome for the
Good
team."
job. Which, to Lance's credit, good for him. Hurting his wrists, all that stuff, but. It's an impossible task to go up against Fernando in a good car.
Yeah.
He's going to be, Aston Martin looks great. They showed up. The hype train is real. But, dude, poor Lance is going to have a rough year, I think.
Do you think he's got to have known that, like, when his dad was like, we're getting Fernando. He's like, all right, well, I'm for sure the number 2, but at least I got job security.
I think that's, I think he's going to live his whole life like that, because he probably will. Yeah, Vettel's there the previous year. You're going up against a 4-time world champion. I think that's the Aston way. The Stroll way is, my son has his seat, and then I'm just going to bring in old world champions to hopefully eventually give them a good car, which happened this year. They showed up with Dan Follows and all the Red Bull engineers. and they showed up with a Red Bull apparently, and it's working. It's
the history of Racing Point.
Yeah, which again, yeah, exactly. Tracing Point showing its cards again, and then even it's already started. Helmut Marko, the Sultan of the Sludge, just bubbled out of the mud this week. Finally, we heard from him and started taking shots at Aston, saying that they took the engineers, and he said it looks like they have really good memories from when they left Red Bull and showed up at Aston Martin. So that the shit stirring has already started from Marco. He's clearly accusing them of stealing the aerodynamics and the engineering and all that stuff. Which, good, dude, good. Steal it. Yeah, I want everyone.
Yeah. You're still 30 seconds in front of everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing fine.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But I don't know how their car is so fast. I can't wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
I mean, also, how bad do you think it feels for Mercedes to have one of their customer motors, their motors in a customer car, dominating them?
Yeah, doing great. Putting the brake. That's tough for them, obviously. I think it's like an aero thing. Like the fact that the aerodynamics on the Aston is competing and beating your supplier, that's bad. To the point where Toto this week, or even leading into the race, said they've got to fundamentally change the car. And it seemed like he jumped to a pretty harsh conclusion, but he was like, this car ain't it. They were only a few tenths off coming out of quali, and still he was like, we need to change the whole car, or they're looking to change the whole car. And I think that will result in short-term setbacks. It'll be pretty aggressive for the next few months. I think it's going to suck. I hope that they just show up with a whole new car. I want them to just completely change it, but
they can't spend $470 million anymore.
yeah.
So things have gotten a little tough.
Yeah.
I was saying this to my buddy Rob this morning when we were watching the race. I was like, if this was 5 years ago, they would have just been like, nope, scrap the car, start from scratch right now. Let's build it in 2 weeks, and they would have it done.
Yeah.
But they can't anymore.
No.
And you kind of heard Toto say that, where he's like, we have to stick with this. Like, I still have faith in this concept.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Say okay.
I think clearly their motor's great.
Yeah. They have the power.
Mercedes makes a good motor for sure.
They have the power. I think that's the biggest issue is just the design around that power. They clearly can push that car, and it's reliable. Shout out to Ferrari. And I just think they need to upgrade into that and push the design philosophy into what everyone else is doing, what Red Bull set the trend for. So unfortunately, it's going to be a huge hit, I think, to their ego. And what they don't want to do is be like, they got it right, we got it wrong. But Toto is clearly laying that foundation right now, saying to the media, I got it wrong, we got it wrong, we need to take this on the chin. Next week, we're going to show up with a Red Bull car. I don't think they're going to do that.
We're going to be a Red Bull customer now.
Yeah, I think the aero is going to change, and they're going to have those side pods pretty soon. I don't know how soon, but I think eventually that's going to happen. I just don't think this car is flowing the way it needs to flow, and that'll be that. And then the power will be the power, and let's see how that gap closes to Red Bull.
You really think it's the side pod that's doing it all?
I obviously, me, I'm not technical enough to know exactly what's doing it, but to me, that's the biggest difference, is just the overall fundamental design philosophy of Mercedes with the no side pods. The way the aero just looks completely different to every other car on the grid. Every other car saw what Ferrari and what Red Bull did, and modeled the flow after that. Kind of really wide, thin, tight air pods that kind of have that big bow out at the front, and they flow really nicely back towards the tail. And even have shout out to Aston, who has the same exact thing. McLaren, RIP, did the same thing. They have the ripple through the side pod. So I would just expect Mercedes to start doing more of that, or at least testing that. We'll see.
They showed a picture of that green paint that they used, that high vis paint for Aero, and they showed Red Bull's and then everyone else's, and Red Bull's is just perfect.
Yeah,
just the way it goes
just
down.
The Nickelodeon slime, just perfect.
Yeah, it's exactly where you want it to be. It's like, wow, this couldn't be any better.
Yeah, it's so smooth. Yeah.
And they're so fast, and it's funny in the beginning of Drive to Survive when they have all the drivers looking at the Merc,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Wow, yours looks so different
Yeah.
from everyone
All right.
else's," and
Yeah.
Lewis is like, "Yeah, I don't know."
Yeah. You just kind of goes, I don't know, man. Bold choice, I guess. But like,
we thought we had it.
yeah, that's the thing. It's easy to say that now, but like when Merc first showed up and everyone, back in 2022, everyone was kind of like, whoa, this is a crazy concept. These cars might not need them. And then it clearly was wrong. And then they doubled down on that philosophy. They didn't change it. They didn't go to immediately copying Red Bull, or at least moving towards that, direction of design. And then I think immediately this year was like, this car will not close that gap. I think other cars are just going to keep pushing forward and keep developing faster, which we saw Red Bull drive off into the sunset. Just Perez and Verstappen gone. And that's it. That was, so I think they see that happening and they're like, yeah, we're not going to get close if they keep developing and we just keep, taking very small steps forward. So they need to take that huge leap, overhaul. Hire me, dude. I'll do it. I'll design it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Fine. I'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lewis is doing a decent job. It's going to be tough to see them in that midfield now for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And probably for the rest of these regulations.
That's crazy. It makes me sad. I hope that's not true. But the only hope they have right now, I think, is to overhaul. It just seems like it after. I mean, it's 1 week, but there was a lot of
And you think
beta.
it's just we don't know if it's side pods or not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have no idea. I think it.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, Lewis put it on Russell. There was so much chatter last year about Russell finishing higher and whatever. But I think Lewis looked really good this week for the car he had, and he finished higher than Russell. And so I think that battle is going to be a little bit more intense this year. And it's already, it's not flaring up or anything. They're great, but I think that'll be a little spicier.
I think they know that they need to do this for the team because none of them are going to win. So let's see if we can get the constructors, as high as we can. But I'm surprised Lewis didn't overtake Carlos at the end there. He was so close. He was within a half a second. And then he was just like, I can't get him.
Yep.
And Carlos was bitching about his tires.
Yeah.
And then you just see them. Lewis had DRS open and was losing ground to the Ferrari.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like you watch it and you're like, what? This doesn't make sense. And I guess it's probably the state of the tires because, Carlos and Lewis is famous for bitching about the tires being bad when they're not. So maybe he did have good tire management and then.
I mean, not to Fernando. He took that and then gapped him.
Yeah. Well, and Fernando was on hard tires and really had to push to catch him, caught him, and then put a gap on him, and the tires held up. So it's kind of pretty scary for the other teams to see things like that happen. And I don't know. I feel like, Ferrari's reliability, I mean, let's talk about it for a second. Charles Leclerc. Oh, my heart. The kid. The Armani Prince. It was such a bummer. Like he was having a great race. Ferrari's tires, or they did well managing most of the tires. Like this Bahrain track, this tarmac is so harsh. That's why you saw so many of the hard tires.
And bumpy too.
Yeah, a lot of bumpiness. It's a harsh track, a lot of sand, and it's a different kind of tarmac, so it just eats up those tires quickly.
Yeah.
But it gave me harsh, like poor Ferrari fans. I felt bad for myself. I was, being a little baby and crying about McLaren the whole race because immediately Piastri is like off on the back foot, and then they're throwing. They're getting blue screened. The operating system's crashing. They need new steering wheels.
It looked so bad.
But then Ferrari getting the flashbacks of winning or at least up in the front podiums places, and then getting DNFs, going from at least third down to 0. My pasta heart just completely got taken out. So poor Ferrari. Carlos looked good. He looked like he was battling all weekend. Ferrari, Carlos just didn't feel comfortable in the car, but he put in a good performance and did well. He ended up in 4th, but again, almost had a podium. Alonso took that from him. Leclerc
love
completely
it.
getting chopped up
I love
by
it.
the new
I love
and
it.
Leclerc had power unit issues. They put in a new, I think, battery save, which they only get 2 of those replacements per year.
And he had to get that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Ferrari is again uncertain. They seem to have the power and like the package, but it's just Ferrari things keep happening. Little pieces of penne keep getting in there and rattling
It,
around.
it didn't appear to be too bad of a strategy this time around.
No.
Like they felt a little more together.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if old Freddie V can keep it together.
Yep.
But it seems like he's doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah.
I like his attitude and his mindset going into the race this weekend.
Yeah.
So,
It's exciting.
but-
It's exciting. It's just so much like there. It was so dense. I forgot how much happens in a race. I just everything is going on at once. Like even from the jump, which we didn't talk about, but Lance completely torpedoing into the back of Fernando, his teammate. And then my favorite part was the rest of the race. Fernando kept asking, "Hey, did you guys check on that scenario? Who hit me? Who hit me?" And they wouldn't tell him.
And it was Lance.
They wouldn't tell him. They just go, yeah, nothing more is going to happen with that. The FIA is not looking into it. They didn't want to say that Lance hit him. So he'll find out at the end. But he was like, what happened with that? Is anyone getting a penalty for that?
I think here's my theory. I think Lance broke his hands on purpose. I
Ooh,
think
tinfoil hat, Brent. Let's go. Let's dive in.
I think that he hit that pothole on purpose because he knew that he was going to get his ass handed to him with old, Fernando Alonso, and so therefore he was like, "Let me break these, so I have a reason to be
For the rest of the year. He has a reason for the rest
whole
of the year.
He has pins in there now forever.
Damn.
That's a commitment. That's a commitment to.
That's Fernando level big brain move, knowing that you're gonna be out big brained by your teammate, and so you're like, hey, I'm gonna break my wrists just so I don't have to compete with my teammate, and everyone will think I'm a hero for just doing all right. Oh,
for taking my thumb out of the hole to turn the steering wheel.
Listen, when you first said that was your conspiracy, I was like, I'm so excited. This is gonna be the worst conspiracy I've ever heard, and now I'm fully on board. I got the tinfoil hat. The moon landing never happened. Lance ruined it. It's he crashed on purpose because he knew
it was Kubrick. Yeah. Dude, do you think that that there's the curse that if you win Bahrain,
yes,
you won't win the thing. So now it's the world title.
Yeah.
So now Max Verstappen handedly won it.
Yep.
Is he going to break it?
I think so. I think
with how it looks.
but-
If their car continues.
Yeah,
then-
that's the thing. But also, we did this last year. Last year, Leclerc drove off into the sunset, and everyone was
a
like,
1 and 2,
and,
right?
and every conversation for the first couple weeks was Ferrari will absolutely dominate. Is the championship over? We're in the new era of Ferrari, and then in come the horns and the clown cars and the strategy team showing up absolutely hammered and ruining that. But I truly don't think so. I think Red Bull has been through this before. Not that Ferrari hadn't been through this before. They are obviously seasoned, but I don't know. They look stable. They look reliable unless something crazy happens or the car becomes really unreliable. Both drivers look really good. Perez looked just in the pocket. Like, he looked bored. He was just, like, chilling. Like, we're having a good time. I'm racing. I don't know. I don't think he's going to compete with Max after this race. I was hopeful, but I think he will, he'll.
Is Max just that fast?
I guess, man. I think
I don't
so.
like. How are they not cheating? How are they not Ferrariing right now?
Yeah.
It's how is he so fast?
Yeah.
I mean, Lewis is what I'd be curious to see what Lewis looks like in a Red Bull car.
Yeah. I want Lewis, Fernando.
Boy, what if it was Lewis and Max
Yeah.
on the same team?
Dude, that would be, fireworks.
That would never happen.
Never, no,
but that'd
no.
be so funny.
Yeah, Lewis would be a musician and fashion designer really quick.
In a world. 2 world champions
so much hate. Yeah.
Wha-
Yeah. It would be insane. But again, I don't know. Like it goes back to Max's mindset. Like Max's mindset back in 2021 when he was, it was that insane. It was so violent. Like they both were just at each other's throats and crashing into each other, and any little inch given was this massive war. And then as soon as he got that first world championship, we saw last year that he just was kind of like,
Yeah.
and he also dominated so aggressively that he could also have that attitude. But even this year, he just seems so much more relaxed. He proved what he needed to prove. And he still keeps talking about retiring after this contract. Like that keeps coming up. Like everyone's like,
He's there till 26, right? Or 24?
I think 26. Yeah.
Okay.
I think 26. He'll be 31 is what we talked about. And he's gone. He's talking about just sim racing with you. He's going to be in in your lobbies, just absolutely obliterating people. So I don't know, man. He seems comfortable. He seems in like this power of sheer dominance and power right now. I just don't see it changing by the end of the year. But again, anything can happen. That's why this sport is so much fun. Gasly this week went from 20th to 9th, getting points for the first time for Alpine.
He had a good drive.
He did great.
Yeah.
He did great. He looked, Alpine had a lot of issues. Ocon was just getting
all over the
absolutely
place.
assaulted with penalties, and you could see he had a really frustrating, challenging race, but Gasly looked good. He started 20th, and he was had a penalty in qualifying. What was the penalty?
He was going 0.6 kilometers over the speed limit.
Ooh.
He got a €100 fine.
100 euros?
100 euros. I'm pretty sure mine was about quadruple that when I got mine in Ventura.
Were you going 0.6 over? Were you going? How fast were you going, Brent?
I don't know what the conversion is to kilometers per hour to miles per hour, but
yeah.
It was about 20 over.
Yeah.
So that's probably pretty
probably
close.
Tracks. Yeah, European. This is the same, dude. That's very funny. Yeah.
But that fucks up because Pierre already has a bunch of infractions on his super license.
Yeah, he's close.
And so I think he has 2 more points. I think this might be 1. So he may have 1 more point, and then he has to miss a race.
Oh, that sucks. I don't love that. I wish they would wipe them at the end of the year. Unless it's a driver I don't like. Let's just get weirdly personal about it. No.
Let's be arbitrary.
Yeah.
Like, look, okay, here's the deal.
Yeah. It is a very Formula One thing to roll them over and cause drama for the next year just by being like, I don't know, man, because we can. Sure. Like,
is it from when they're infracted though? And it's a time. I think it's a time. The way that I understand it is they do fall off, but it's a time frame. Like if you got it in October, then you're gonna have it.
It's
through
like
October.
a slap on the wrist for part of the year. It's like, all right, you cool it for the next couple months, and then
calm it down.
Funny, I guess, man. Yeah, so
we gotta talk about this.
Let's hear it.
Your team.
Devastating.
What's happening over there?
I'm so sad.
In the papayas. Because is Zach Brown bad?
The music's bad. Like, I'm just doing country music jokes now, like Chris Voth. He was just texting us the whole time country music, and I was like, if you don't shut up with this country music jokes, I'm going to drive over to your house and fight you.
He kept trying to run jokes on us, and I was like, hey, I'm not helping you with your Connor Moore stuff.
He called me,
sorry.
and I just was like, dude, listen, never call me during a race. I was like, I can't tell you how much I don't want to talk on the phone while a race is happening.
Like, I've been trying to get you to do live watch-alongs, and you just have an excuse for everything.
Like,
nope, we're not. We're not doing this.
Maybe watch-alongs this year. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it this year for sure. But yeah, man, it's my little personal time. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. But what doesn't make me happy is the garbage that is McLaren this week. It was so frustrating to watch. They were fine in quali, better than, like, not great. Everyone was kind of like, damn, they don't look good. They're definitely on the back foot. And then quali, they did all right. Like, Lando in 11th was better than I think people expected, better than what Lando expected. And he was even pretty positive going in the race. I then heard some like other chatter about like, well, maybe McLaren has better race pace than even qualifying, and the car's suited, whatever.
Yeah.
None of that happened. They, Piastri was a disaster, just because the tech of the car, like the operating system went out. They needed a new steering wheel. There was issues there.
Well, it's because they're using Dell.
Yeah.
Like that's from the 90s.
Yeah.
Dude, you're getting a Dell? You're getting a McLaren?
Dude, you're getting a DNF is what you're getting. Yeah. And so that sucked. And it just was such a bummer. And it made me so sad. And I wish Lando deserves more and Piastri deserves more. And hopefully they take that step forward. To your question, I don't think Zach Brown is bad at his job. I don't think he's bad at his job. I don't think he's a bad CEO. I think he's an incredible CEO. Shout out to all the logos on the car. I think that's what
the busiest car of all time.
I think that's what he's good at. He's good at client relationships. He's good at business. He's good at getting, the money in the door and selling the product that is McLaren. Incredible. He's done an incredible job. He's turned the team around in so many ways. But I was talking to my friend, shout out to Kevin, friend of the podcast, Kevin Owens. Great insight from him that I think that the loss of Andreas Seidel, that ripple effect is so much bigger than what people are saying. And his leadership and his technical acumen, just everything that he brought to the way McLaren operated and the way that they approached the car and the systems and everything, that's his brain. And they lost him to Sauber. And so I think we're seeing the effects of him leaving. It's not a Zach problem. I think it was losing Andreas, the Seidel issue.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
I hope that's not too negative on them, and I hope they can figure it out. And it might just be kind of growing pains of bringing in a new principal. But I think that dude's pretty goddamn talented at his job and was a huge part of the turnaround at McLaren. And we're going to be missing him for a long time. We are, because I am on the team now. So, yeah, I can't say I'm not a McLaren fan when they're good and then not when they're bad. I'm right there with them going through the pain.
So you just think it's their technical director. It's not like their whole feeder. It's not like their whole system. Because it feels like Zach or like McLaren in general. I'm not sure who's making these decisions, but it feels like they're taking big swings with talent. They're paying big money out.
Yeah.
Like they had to pay a little bit more to get Oscar. They had to they had a shitload to pay to get out of Danny.
Yeah.
And he made that deal to begin with. It doesn't seem like it seems like they're either spread too thin and they're just trying to like vacuum up as many like young talents as they can just to see who pops, but that's too expensive. It's like they're not even taking the time to vet them properly before they bring him onto the McLaren team. And I don't know.
For me, it's not a personnel issue. I think that like between Danny Rick, Oscar Piastri, McLaren, and then all like the all the carrots that they're dangling in front of all the IndyCar drivers, like Plow and O'Ward and those guys. Yeah. I don't think it's personnel. I think it's the car. I think the car is a weird, temperamental car. Like I was watching an onboard comparison of, I think it was Alpine and McLaren. It was McLaren and another car, maybe the Aston. It doesn't matter. But it was showing the gearing system and how odd and different the gearing is on the McLaren. Like it gears down almost just like it rattles through them. It wasn't like a boom, boom, boom. It was just like drop down into like second gear. And I think Oscar will have issues with it, just the way that the car drives, the same as Danny did. He clearly was like, this is a weird car. It doesn't fit my driving style. I think the only advantage McLaren has is they have Lando, who was, born and raised in that McLaren car, doesn't know anything different in Formula One, so he has a huge advantage. Oscar, I think, will get on board.
Until he goes to a normal car.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If he goes to another team, let's say he goes to Red Bull in however many years or whatever, Mercedes, that car is going to feel insane, even though that'll feel probably more typical to the other cars on the grid.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just... It's a bummer that car is so weird. It seems like it's really weird. Nico had a question. Rosberg had a question for Lando on the tarmac before, and he said, "What's the issue with the car? What's going on? What's the problem?" And he just said, "It's a bunch of things, and the car's weird." His takeaway was essentially like, it's easy to make mistakes in that McLaren, is what he said. So gotcha. I think it's just on the edge of always being a problem, and they're fighting with that the whole time. So when an issue actually does happen, it's a huge issue.
All right. So it's a big. So it is technical.
Yeah. I think it comes down to the car just being kind of trash. So hopefully they can make it more sturdy for the drivers.
Well, he had a good game plan today. He chose the 5 pit stop game plan.
Solid strategy. That's it.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't understand. If I have new tires more than the other team, I should be going faster than them.
I don't understand. Dude, you know how bad it's got to feel to see fireworks going off while you're still in your race?
Yeah, you're weaving as like firecrackers are landing in your car. You're like, oh no.
Everyone's on their cooldown lap, and you're trying to go between them.
Yeah, trying to pass Max at the end to unlap yourself, or Lewis to unlap yourself, and fireworks are going off. You're like, damn, yeah, this was a tough one. That's a tough one.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Oh, it's bad.
How do you think Oscar's going to do? Well, hold on. Actually, fuck that. I want to talk about Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Because how about that? A point in the Williams.
Point. Shout out Jan. We got the point. In a Williams.
That's pretty cool.
So good, man. So exciting. They looked way better than I thought. Williams for the last few years has been such a backmarker, and Logan Sargent looked great. He looked consistent. He looked very reliable. Albon put it in the points. He got 10th. Amazing. Yep. Good for them. Like, so excited to see. Hopefully they can take even more steps forward. But the fact that they're getting points in the first race, they got to feel good over there. I think they clearly made a right choice in Logan. Logan seems to be a great choice. It's funny, like Logan was very much, he's the American driver. He's coming in. A lot of people didn't know much about him. That no one really knew about his temperament or his attitude. And his attitude's been incredible. Like what I really didn't want was him to come in and be like the loud, obnoxious American. And he is.
Yeah. Oh,
he
boy.
is so not that. He comes in. He's very understated. He's just like get to work. He's never too high, never too low. And he's been great. So I'm excited that he's the most current and most recent American. He seems like a good ambassador, and he's not like this cartoonish American.
Thank God.
It's great. And he's
thank God we don't have like a Kenny Powers type character.
Exactly. Just his helmet's pushing it. His helmet's got big like fast American flags on it. It looks good, but it's like, oh, we'll see.
Careful.
It's pretty American. Yeah. We know how that can go, but. He looks great. He seemed to be a really bright spot for them. If I was a Williams fan, I would be super encouraged with the weekend.
Yeah.
They look great. The weekend.
Logan, to me, is just the American version of George Russell.
Yeah.
Like, Logan Sargent is basically like, him and George seem like AI representations of humans. Like, this is what a human should be.
Yep.
And it's just George Russell and Logan Sargent. Like one's drinking tea and crumpet, one's drinking Budweiser and cookies.
It's like the alien that landed and they're trying to be a human. They're like, this is what humans do.
Yeah, and that's what it seems like they are.
One just landed in the UK, one landed in Florida, and that's how they. Which, if you land in Florida, it could go the other way. But this one is.
I'm surprised that Valtteri's the one that's got the mullet, not Logan.
I know.
That's what.
Oh, so good. So it was a great week. It was such a good week.
It was.
Man. It was the best.
It was. Yeah, man. I'm so pumped for Fernando for this, for like the potential he's got. I'm excited for Aston Martin. Like, I think I'm an Aston fan now.
You gotta get some Aston
like
gear.
It's so fun. Yeah. I'd love to see him shit talking. I love to see him like duking it out with Lewis, with other world champs.
Yep.
I hope that they can. I don't know if they'll get the pace. Of Red Bull.
Yeah.
But they're definitely the best. I mean, up there with the rest, with Ferrari for sure. Yeah.
He makes the sport better when Fernando's up at the top like this, fighting with Lewis, fighting with the media, fighting with everyone, fighting his own demons. Fernando is the best. It's so fun to see him succeed this late in his career. I'm just glad that they gave him a car.
He's 41.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
and what I love about Aston, the two biggest heads on the grid. Those two motherfuckers have Carson Daly style heads. I mean, it's insane how big they are.
Rattling back and forth in the cockpit.
You know how much neck strength you got to have to hold those noggins up, man? Those things are like 12 pounds each.
They're always doing the neck training just because their head's so big. That's great. That's actually why Lance fell off the bike. He just leaned a little bit to the side and his whole body followed. That was it.
Oh God, that's so funny, dude. Well, it's time. I think it's time. First of all,
It's time.
congratulations to Max and Red Bull 1-2, big start. Bigger congratulations to the driver of the day,
Yes.
Fernando Alonso. Pretty incredible. Third place. Man, he hasn't had a podium since 2013.
Damn, that's crazy.
A decade. Can you imagine
Pre-pandemic.
how annoying that would be? A decade?
That's dude.
You don't get a podium?
Furious. Yeah, no wonder he's like mad at everything. Or
Right?
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
And people say that he's always made like bad moves in his career, like going from like team to team, and he just kind of keeps getting screwed. And fingers crossed, he found a good spot for the next couple years.
Great.
You know,
It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So, all right, let's get to our Mazzy.
Time.
We're back at the Mazzy. If you're new to our podcast, we do this almost every episode where we award the Mazzy. The Mazzy Award is in honor of the greatest driver in Formula One history, Nikita Mazepin.
Yes. God tier.
The one who finished 21st out of 20 in his final season, in the points, of course. And so we call it the Mazzy. Yeah. If you think we're serious about the greatest driver of all time, we're very much
watch
not.
A couple seasons. Yeah,
he's trash. So our Mazzy Award this week, boy, tough one. Our Mazzy Award this week goes to none other than Mercedes-Benz for taking over the Mother's Polish sponsorship to provide commercial-free coverage on ESPN Live.
This is more devastating than McLaren being bad. This is. I saw up in the top corner that it said exclusively presented by, and it had the Merc logo, and I was like, get out of here. I was like, come on. Just because you have more money now because of the budget cap to put into advertising, don't get rid of the greatest brand that's ever graced us with commercial-free racing. Mother's Polish. Hey.
And like their logo's from 1980. You know they don't have a lot of money. They've just been hanging on to Formula One because they signed a 40-year contract or some shit like that.
It's crazy. You know what I've never seen ever outside of F1? A Mother's Polish advertisement. I can't
afford it. They blew their whole load.
I didn't know what they do. I was like, well, polish, like nail polish, car, and you were like, it's car polish. I was like, I wouldn't know because I've never seen an advertisement for them outside of.
Nor have I seen it at an AutoZone or any of that. Do they even sell this?
It could be fake. It could just be. It's like it's basically Marlboro.
It's a Marlboro, right?
Yeah. It's the Mission Winnow of Polish brands. It could be a shell company. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing: I miss it, and I'm bummed that Mercedes.
It's a shell company for a shale company.
Yeah, Mercedes is like, we got to win something, so let's win the advertising war and make everyone look at a Merc logo during the race. I mean, it's a genius move, but
it's so funny.
Man,
I can't imagine how much they spent on that. Like they just are like, we don't know what to do with this money.
Yeah. Now
Mother's Polish, go fuck
get
yourself.
Out of here.
Sorry,
yeah, get out of here. You're gone. Yeah, great Mazzy. That was a fun one.
Man,
so sad.
It is. It's a bummer. But what a fun week, huh?
It's the best. Feels good to be back. You're the best, Brent. We had such a good time.
Thanks.
I love just the energy of the week, the F1 race weeks. It gets excited. All my buddies, everyone's texting each other, funny moments. It's just the best. It's a good. It's the best sport. I love it so much.
It's been obsessive. It's been like overrunning my mind.
Yeah, dude, you're doing
weeks.
Homework on the track. You're racing Bahrain before. Like that's great. I love that so much.
Saudi Arabia, I've got 2 weeks to get that down.
Wait, Saudi Arabia is next week, I think. Or do we have a week?
No, I think it's 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, you're gonna be.
Isn't it the 19th?
Oh, I'm not sure. Either way, you have however many days to dodge those missiles. So you're gonna have to be fighting.
It is March 19th.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Good call. My fault. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, you got a lot of time in the sim to get the out and back that is Jeddah. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna hit so many walls, dude.
It looks fast, and like Bahrain is an easy track according to the game.
Yeah,
and this is like a medium track, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah,
and
no runoffs.
It's so fast.
No runoff. It's just a wall and blind corners, and we saw what happened to Mick last year. It's a terrifying track.
I crashed into so many people on the start every single time. Like going into the first turn, I'm like, oh, we got to stop now? I'm like looking at the turn, forgetting, because I'm used to just time trials.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
like, I should, there's other people around.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Nah, dude, just bumper cars. Let them have it. Just Lance Stroll the back of everyone.
Oh, man. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Please, if you haven't given us a rating, if you enjoy us, please do that. They do go far. We've got some amazing reviews from you guys, so thank you very much for taking the time to do that for us. If you love us, share it with your friend. We're trying to grow this bad boy, so please share our podcast with our friends and our new listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Season 2, Episode 2. This is fun.
It's the best. Bahrain, baby.
Yeah.
What a great race.
That's right. Shout out to Kat Orlean. Thanks for producing the shit out of this at KO Recording. Give her a follow. Shout out to Jan at Poinson and Williams for the video. We love you guys, and we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Drive safe. Seatbelts. Music.